Over the next decade, Utah's not only going to grow, it's going to thrive in ways that most states only dream of. And if you're wondering where the future of Utah is headed, as well as your own future if you're looking at making Utah your home, this video is going to lay out the blueprint as to why Utah is going to thrive over the next 10 years and beyond. And you likely clicked on this video because you're curious, why is Utah one of the most desirable places to live and to move to? And if you're looking to make the move within the state of Utah, why are so many people wanting to make this place their home, not only to purchase a home to live in, but to invest in for their future as well? Well, in this video, I'm going to break down the 5 biggest reasons why Utah will continue to thrive over the next 10 years. And honestly, number 2 is going to likely surprise you. And based off of my thousands of conversations that I've had with people that have reached out to me through this YouTube channel, they've reached out with certain concerns or certain questions, including and especially locals that are from the state of Utah. And number 2 is going to surprise you, but this is a complete list as to why Utah is going to thrive over the next decade or more. Okay, number 1 on the list is Utah has an incredibly dynamic and diverse economy. The economy here in the state of Utah is tops in the nation and has been for many, many years. So why is that? Why is Utah so incredibly special? But more importantly, why does Utah not follow the trends with any one particular industry? It's because of the diverse nature of our economy here, and it really strengthens us as a whole. And Utah consistently ranks among the top states in the nation for economic outlook and resilience. This isn't by chance. There are many industries that are thriving here in the state of Utah, as well as small business. This is a wonderful state to start a small business, but major industries like the tech industry or aerospace and defense or advanced manufacturing or biohealth, all of these things, including financial services and everything in between, really create a diverse environment for the economy here so that when any one particular sector of the economy is struggling, it doesn't pull down the economy as a whole. And it's that diversity that really creates the economic stability in order to weather the storm when the big things happen. So if we have a major recession, it's going to be able to rebound very quickly because every time we experience a recession on the other side, we know what's to come, and that's recovery. That recovery that comes on the back end of an economic recession or downfall here in Utah is really well positioned for a nice rebound because of the nature of our economy. In a world and a nation where entire states' economies can be impacted by one major industry, for example, think of Michigan with the automotive industry, or think of Pennsylvania with the steel industry. When these industries suffer major economic downturns, it really impacts the economy of that state, and that's just not Utah. And so major corporations and companies look at this as a major strength as to why Utah's economy is so attractive, because the spread out strength of Utah in terms of its diverse economy is really what makes it a very safe bet. And over the course of the last couple of years, as the economy has taken a little bit of a downturn, a lot of people are really starting to feel the pain of this economy that we're sitting in. Is it going to soon change? Hopefully, we don't know. Regardless of what does or doesn't happen, it may be affecting you. We've seen more job losses. We've seen more industries really pull back and slow the hiring. We see a lot of people being more conservative in fear that the home prices or the economy in general is really greatly affecting their personal decisions as to what they're choosing to do. And so, despite the fact that Utah has grown faster than any other state in the nation since 2010, doesn't mean we don't have struggles as well. There's a downside to all of that growth, but there's also a really good level of optimism for Utah's future. And despite the fact that we have such incredible rapid growth, that growth is also sustainable. Now, of course, we have roadblocks. We have things that are in our way with respect to growth. People here talk a lot about air quality or about water resources. These things are valid concerns, and I have studied up and researched on these extensively. I understand what the situation looks like. And yes, Utah's going to continue to grow over the next decade or two to the point where we're going to add at least a couple more million people to the state of Utah. And despite the fact that many locals may not like that, it is going to happen. And we need to continue to build and expand responsibly in a sustainable way so that we can manage that growth without losing our identity as the state of Utah, because most of the people that have lived here their entire lives look at what Salt Lake City or Utah used to be, and they really miss it. They don't want that to change. I personally, I've lived here my entire life as well. I don't want to see Utah change, but change and growth is inevitable, and it will continue to happen. And so the real question is, are we going to continue to do so in a very sustainable manner? And on the topic of Utah's growth, this is the second reason, of course, why Utah is so economically powerful, but also why it's sustainable over time. We grow here in Utah for two major reasons. We have natural increase because we have more children and larger families in Utah than any other state in the nation, but we also attract so many people that come from out of state because we've built a place that in most cases is a better place for people to live than the state that they're moving from. I talk to people every single day right here from YouTube that reach out to me and we have conversations. And my first questions that I like to ask is, what's your motivation as to why you're picking Utah? Of all places that you could move to, why Utah? In years and decades past, it's been jobs that have driven the growth here, and of course the outdoors, but now it's so much more. People value what Utah stands for. They value the growth that they see in Utah, and they want to buy in. They want to invest here and plant roots here and plant their lives here as well. And as we see Utah grow from 3.5 million residents today to over 5 million residents in the years to come, we're going to have to see real solutions to the problems that we're encountering today. And we also know that more people oftentimes means more problems, so we're going to have to get ahead of this growth to make sure that we can do so in a sustainable manner. And all of this growth is to say, we're not just growing in numbers, we're growing in job opportunities, in businesses, in thriving communities, and other attractions. All these other things that come because the people are coming, it's happening right now. So if you live in Utah and you want to see this change happen, it's great. If you don't, you might be disappointed. But regardless, this growth that's driving the state of Utah, not only in the years past, but in the decades to come, is going to be the major reason why people are choosing to move here. Okay, number 3 on the list is quality of life and natural beauty. Now, I would argue if I'm ranking states across the country in terms of their natural beauty and what they offer, California is going to be at the top of the list for me with such a diverse landscape. But Utah, for me, is in the top 3. I think Utah is one of the most beautiful states in the nation with an incredible diverse landscape that you can experience so much in the outdoors and with nature, and the scenery is just absolutely breathtaking. And Utah offers something incredibly rare. In fact, it's non-existent in any other major American city to have the ability to live in a metropolitan area and to be 15 to 20 minutes away from the middle of the mountains, the Wasatch Mountains, the Rocky Mountains right here in Utah. That's not something you get to experience in any other city. To have that type of proximity to the outdoors and that type of lifestyle is unmatched. But on the flip side of that coin, we also offer the thriving urban center here in Salt Lake City and other cities along the Wasatch Front that people really attach to and they really want to see close to a city where they can experience the concerts or the other events or the sporting events that they really want to. And it's that unique combination or blend of urban life with suburban life and rural life that really makes Utah appealing. In fact, it's something I talk to people regularly. They want to be close to a city to go to a sporting event. And luckily, Utah's been growing in that department as well. For decades, we only had one major sports team in the Utah Jazz, but now we have a professional NHL hockey team as well as the Utah Jazz and a soccer team and a baseball team to come, hopefully. And so Utah does offer a lot of what those major cities across the US offer. And it's even fair to say that Salt Lake City is becoming a mecca for sports, and hosting the Winter Olympics for the second time here in less than a decade is only going to add to that. This is a place that's really become really well known as a hub for sports, not only in the Olympic community, but beyond. And from skiing in Park City or the Cottonwood Canyons or hiking in Zion National Park or one of the other 4 national parks that we have here in southern Utah to enjoying uncrowded public lands, all while living close to strong schools, affordable housing, and clean air initiatives where people are giving a serious push to make sure that our quality of life here in Utah is improving, Utah gives people a reason to stay here. And here's the bigger picture. Lifestyle is the new currency. The largest demographic of people in our country is now millennials, and millennials prioritize lifestyle far more than Gen Xers or baby boomers ever did. And so lifestyle is the new currency. And in a world where people can work remotely, Utah offers something incredibly unique for people that have that ability to work from home, to blend a lifestyle along with their community in a way that is pretty much unmatched anywhere else in the country. And to address the naysayers, I would argue that when you factor in all of the pros and the cons with respect to living in the state of Utah, the pros far outweigh the cons. It's a matter of understanding both so that you can have clarity to make the best decision for you. But this place, the lifestyle that's offered here and the natural beauty that you get to be part of is a major driver as to why people not only choose to move here, but to stay here and raise a family here. Okay, number 4 on the list is smart infrastructure and growth planning. Unlike many other fast-growing places or communities or cities and crumbling under this weight of their own success, Utah is thriving through actively planning for that growth. Major investments in roads, bridges, water infrastructure as well as transit is really keeping ahead of the curve in terms of the growth and the forecasts that are coming into play along the Wasatch Front and through the major metropolitan areas. And on top of that, Utah is planning ahead for the future, and it's being done in a way that is far better than it was in decades past. I'm going to tell a story and just share some insight with respect to how planning has greatly improved here in the state of Utah. Way back before I was born, there was a highway that was planned to run along the west side of the Salt Lake Valley, and that was known as Bangerter Highway. Now, I would definitely argue that Bangerter Highway was an incredibly poorly planned highway. It was planned with major surface streets crossing through intersections, and despite the fact that there weren't any businesses or residences along the road, in other words, there were sound walls on both sides, it really created a dangerous highway, but it really didn't move traffic nearly as efficiently as we soon needed as we saw Utah continue to grow. Now, over the last decade plus, we've seen this particular highway being converted to a full freeway. In fact, this fall, they're finishing 4 more interchanges that will make this highway a full freeway from where it connects to I-15 in Draper and out to the west side through Harriman and Bluffdale, as well as through Riverton and South Jordan, West Jordan, and northward. This is really quickly becoming a very great artery right through the heart of the fastest growing areas in the city, but it wasn't planned out well in the past. To contrast that, the new freeway that's built just to the west of Bangerter Highway in the Mountain View corridor has been incredibly well planned. They have planned not only trail systems, interchanges, freeway systems, and all of the commercial that will be adjacent to it. They've done a very good job of doing so. This corridor is connecting from I-80 in the north all the way south through South Jordan and Daybreak, and it's currently being constructed down through Saratoga Springs. It will continue out to Eagle Mountain, and it will continue to connect to I-15 in Lehigh. This infrastructure, as we see this built out, will offer 2 main arteries through Salt Lake County that feed into the northern part of Utah County, which is greatly needed. And so, despite the fact that we have growing pains in that northern area of Utah County right now, it's going to greatly improve. In fact, I tell everybody, if you buy a home in Saratoga Springs today, you might be dealing with some of the worst traffic in the state. But as this infrastructure is being built out currently, it will greatly improve here in just a few short years, and you're going to be ahead of the curve with respect to appreciation, because these areas are already 10 to 15% less expensive than other comparable areas, but because it's so new and this infrastructure has been well planned out, it's going to be much more appealing here in just a few short years, which of course drives up prices. Now, this is just one example of infrastructure and growth and planning. I could tell you story after story after story of different developments in areas that are really well planned out. I think the planning that is done today versus the planning that was done 30, 40, or 50 years ago is absolutely night and day. So yes, Utah is doing a very good job in planning for the future. We can see evidence of it in Weber County, Davis County, Salt Lake and Utah counties, Summit County. We see this growth happening, and we see the planning and the efforts that put into place to accommodate that growth in the years to come. And Utah's even preparing for future technology like autonomous driving or even flying cars. Crazy, I know. It's crazy to think that that is going to be right upon us in just a few short years, but Utah's planning ahead for all of it. And smart growth means Utah can handle the growth that's inevitably going to come, along with maintaining its identity as one of the greatest and best places to live, not only in the way of lifestyle and amenities, but the opportunities that are here as well. And that precisely is why Utah's growth is sustainable and not complete chaos. Okay, next up on the list, number 5, is education and workforce. So this is a major contributor as to the future of the success of the state of Utah, because as we look at other places around the country where birth rates have fallen, where demographics have shifted, Utah is in prime position to offer the best of all worlds in terms of a great workforce, an educated workforce, and the demographics needed in order to sustain and support the growth that's going to inevitably be here, so the businesses will want to come and to plant roots here. And Utah overall is the youngest state in the nation, and we're not wasting that advantage. And it's this younger workforce, as well as the highly educated workforce here, that has become so desirable for so many companies to want to come here. It's also worth noting that we have a larger percentage of people here that are bilingual, that don't just speak their native language. That's a really cool plus as well for so many other companies. And with the state heavily investing in education, as we spend more dollars as an overall percentage of our budget than any other state in the nation, investing in our future is a priority here in the state of Utah in the way of education. And all of this is to say, this is a magnet for new businesses. When we see these businesses that are struggling with politics or some other issue in a different state, they want to come here. That is precisely why Utah is thriving, because we've built an environment that's not only business friendly, but it's friendly because we have such an educated and powerful workforce. And when you create that young, powerful, innovative, and diverse workforce with smart policies on the back end, you don't just attract jobs, you create long-term prosperity. And if I had to place a bet on which state in this country is going to experience the most or the best long-term prosperity, my money is on Utah for so many reasons. I could talk for an hour as to the reasons why I believe Utah is going to be the most prosperous state in the nation in terms of overall lifestyle and the experiences that people have here in starting a business here or working for a company here. But I don't have time for it in this video, but I'm putting my money on Utah. So if you disagree with me and you don't think Utah is going to thrive, please drop a comment below. I love having those conversations. And if this is the type of content that's helpful for you, I would love it if you took just a moment to subscribe to my YouTube channel here. It really does help me, and 96% of you are not subscribed. It just takes 2 seconds. Hit that subscribe button. And overall, what's going to create the success of Utah in the future that we've seen in the years past? Well, time will tell. But in my opinion, it's this: a powerhouse economy, sustainable and consistent growth, absolutely unmatched lifestyle, smart infrastructure and development, and a future-ready workforce. This is a recipe that most other states would kill to have. And maybe I'm too biased, but I believe that if you're looking for a state where the future is the brightest, I think Utah is the list. I think Utah tops that list. It is the list. I think it's the greatest place in the country to thrive, not only as an individual or a family or economically speaking. Utah has it all. And I would encourage you to compare Utah to other states and see how they stack up. Weigh the pros and cons to find out where the best place is for you. And as always, my team and I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. If you're looking at making the move to Utah or to sell, if you already live here, we would love to be your real estate resource of choice. Reach out to us. You can find our contact information down below. You can even book a call with us on that link you'll find in the pinned comment on this and every video. And if you're looking to learn more about life in Utah, check out this playlist next. And until the next video, thanks.